But football without fans is nothing. It can be the greatest game in the world. If there are no people there to watch it, it becomes nothing.
Johnston. And a goal by Johnston. That makes it 2 by him.
We were magnificent. Magnificent.
Larson. Oh, he's in. Henrik Larsson. That is sensational. Nakamura.
The game is over. The Rebels have won.
He's done it! Jarman's put it in, and without a doubt, the European Cup is on its way.
We'll never stop. We'll stop at half time and we'll stop at the end of the game when we celebrate.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Jungle Joust podcast. Celtic have just beaten Ross County away at Sunday the 24th of April, and God, we had to work for that one. But another game down, Paddy. 5 games to go. How do you feel?
Oh, mate, that was a tough watch at times, but you know what? 3 points in the bag, baby. Here we go.
That was it, man. You remember the last game away to Ross County? What was it? Was it like 2-1? 2-1 to Celtic with Ralston getting like a winner in like the 96th, 97th minute. It wasn't as dramatic as that, but fuck, we had to work for today's game. Look, we got the goal early on in like the 12th minute, and then for the rest of the game, up until the second goal in the 87th minute, we were kind of on tenterhooks. We were playing well in the first half, but the second half was uncomfortable viewing Ross County get back into it, and all they needed was just one chance, one mistake for them to really fucking put the shitters up us. But we got there in the end, man. A hard-fought performance. Who was the kind of players that stood out for you, mate?
First off, mate, the whole game I thought Greg Taylor was brilliant. He was trying like fuck. He was getting into tackles, and his general all-round play was very, very good, mate. I really thought his effort was top notch. Vickers at the back as well, absolute rock. 1 point he had he flung himself at the ball, saved a goal. I thought the guys that started the game. The first half was really, really good. I thought it was quite zippy. It was energetic. The movement was everywhere. Obviously, we weren't really that clinical at times, but the second half, again, the old cliche game of two halves. It was a harder slog for us. Ross County came out and had a go at us. We weren't as on the ball the second half, but listen, we dug it out, mate. We seen it out. We managed to keep going. Got another goal. Sealed the deal. 3 points. Yes. All that's needed.
And Kyogo's back as well. When that goal went in the minute, my first reaction was, I love this guy. I love this guy. And he was just playing with that smile as well. It's not often you see. Very, very a rarity to see players smile when they're playing football, but he's one of the ones who can actually enjoy it. Who've we got? Palman. Hello, guys. Fly the flag. Jungle Gems podcast. Yes, that's us, mate. Thank you very much to the viewers tuning in. And of course, as always, give us a like, give us a comment. That's what today's all about, interacting with the viewers. And of course, if you haven't done so, please subscribe. And by the way, the Kyogo goal, how good was it? It's good to see him back up and running. He looked very, very leggy against Rangers at Hampden, but who didn't? But today, the physical element was back with Celtic. We didn't look as leggy. We didn't look lethargic. We were pressing well. The tempo, especially the first half tempo, was very healthy. It was good. And Kyogo, of course, he might well be almost coming back to his best anyway, and that's what we need. Giakoumakis coming on in the second half. His physicality was so reassuring for us because the game is becoming much more dogged, much more physical. So Giakoumakis for me brought that reassuring that we needed. He was actually dropping back as well. But Kyogo, what was your thoughts on the wee man's performance today?
Listen, I thought at the start, mate, Ross County were going to be a kind of hard to go against physical side. And I was hoping that Giakoumakis was going to start to bring that kind of physical presence up front to counter their defence. But look at the first goal. The cross comes in, and who's there to head the ball, mate? Kyogo. 5'7", 5'8", whatever he is. And it was a good leap. And it was a great header, mate, and a great goal. Great way to start us off.
See, for that goal, actually, at first I was about to get annoyed at Jota because he turned inside and he had O'Reilly, who picked up a great bit of space. He was in pockets of space on that kind of number 10 role, and I thought that's the obvious pass play into him. But then Jota dropped back on his right, but then he swung in a brilliant cross, and as you said, Kyogo leaps up like a salmon. one of the smallest players on the park, and a brilliant bullet header. He directed it well, and he had great pace behind it. Fantastic header, man. And that's exactly the kind of what you wanted, an early goal to calm the nerves. But actually going into the game itself, Ross County have been pretty good in the second half of this season under Malky Mackay. I think in the last 4 games, they've won 3, and then they drew their last game, and that was at home to Hearts. But 3 wins and 1 draw, that was very, very good form for Ross County. And of course, going into the split, they'd finished 5th. Very respectable finish for a team of Ross County's calibre and for wage. So definitely a team on the up, motivated. Malky Mackay would certainly not let them rest on their laurels. And the first half, Ross County weren't really that good. Celtic were very, very good, very professional. But the second half, they turned it around. How did you feel? How did you digest the second half, especially with the missed chances that we saw in the first half?
I was just saying it, like the first half, it really, Celtic could have been 6-0 up. We weren't clinical enough. You look at the miss that Kyle Ogo had for 6 yards out. Could have went either side of the keeper. With a wee kind of timid shot with a goal disallowed before that. Same again, a kind of sliced effort for Kyle Ogo with his left foot hit the crossbar. It was just shot after shot, mate. But the good. We creeper in the back here. The good thing was, like, we were creating chances. We weren't stopping. We were relentless. Even Hatate, who was a guy I was surprised to see starting after his midweek comments, saying how tired he was, how jaded he was. You know, saying things like he was seeing double vision. He started, and I was surprised with that. But you've got to trust the manager's judgment. He started him, and I thought he played well from the get-go. He was a guy that tired off, but we'll talk about that later on. But no, listen, there was a good fluency in the team in the first half, Gav. As I say, unfortunately, we just weren't clinical enough. Things weren't paying off. But second half, again, it was a different story. And you were just hoping that those chances that you missed in the first half weren't going to come back to bite you in the arse. But we defended well. Again, the Carter Vickers one, diving in front of it. After Ralston kind of get beat pretty easily on the right-hand side. There was moments I know with Starfelt was good with interceptions. Just it was a really, really hard game, mate, and it was one that we really had to win if we want to go and win this league. We've done it. We're on the way. Still got a couple of results to go, but the day was massive. Today was absolutely crucial because obviously they played yesterday. They narrowed the gap down to 3 points. It could be anybody's for them, but no, we've done it. Professional.
Very professional, especially in the second half when we had a few scares. I want to talk about Jota, mate. So, of course, Jota and Maida, they were kind of interchanging throughout the game. But the left flank and right flank. Well, I was going to talk about Jota. I thought I've been a wee bit critical of Jota, and I think that's not without merit. Nobody's like above criticism and nobody's below praise. And Jota, I think at times is flattered to deceive in the second half of this season. But though Jota played well today, in the first half, he was getting in a lot of good deliveries. He set up the first goal, and he set up a lot of chances as well for Maida and for Jota. And the first half, which unfortunately they failed to convert some of the chances that we were taking. We were snatching at them and hitting it straight at the keeper. And I think Jota was putting in a lot of good crosses today. So I want to just shout out, I'll give a wee shout out for Jota to say that he put in a good performance. And the second goal, I know that we're fast forwarding right now, we can go back and break it down later on. But the second goal, Jota showed a lot of determination. And I think that's one thing that I've maybe been labelling at him recently, but he's not been putting in the physical element. But for the second goal, Jota scores. It was like Abada did really well. He collected a throw in. He had good control, laid it off to Giakoumakis. Giakoumakis, first time effort, comes off the bar, and it was Jota who shows that determination. He steals in ahead of his marker, and he scores. And did you actually see his celebration? He did the Lustig. Well, this thing actually hurt a policeman. Did you see that?
No, I did not, mate. I was too busy.
He held the copper. The copper kind of pushed him back a wee bit. But Jota, you could see how much he meant to Jota, the teammates as well. Fantastic. So yeah, overall, I want to give a shout out to Jota. I thought he had a good game, which he's not been having in the past few games.
I absolutely agree with you, mate. Like, there's been questions about his mentality probably since maybe Christmas time. You know, talking him going back to Benfica, maybe that's playing with his head. You know, but listen, he's not been at his best the last few months. But when is the crucial time today? He's turned up today, mate. He's put a performance in. He started on the right. He's moved to the left. He's back to the right again. He's all over the place. He's tried for the team today, and he's set up a goal, and he scored a goal. You know what I mean? So what more can you ask? And obviously celebration, as you say, total enthusiasm. Absolutely love that. Living for the moment. Whatever happens at the end of the season will happen, mate. He's enjoying himself.
And although in the second half, I thought that County turned the second half into much more of their type of game. Here we've got Joe Curran. Thanks for the comment. Well, that's how to do it. I hope they fans didn't want to see Jota in a hoop strip. Well, if I'm right and we can't sign him, then I don't know. We should have signed him, but I feel he's might be gone somewhere else. Sorry, that's a poor translation of your comment, mate. Sorry if I didn't do it justice. So County in the second half, they turned it more into their game. It was much more dogged, much more physical, and a few more questions were asked of our defence. I want to kind of highlight how good our defence is, because although sometimes it doesn't look pretty on the eye, but we've got the meanest defence in the league. We are miserly in terms of giving away chances. I would like to... I've not looked at the stats to see how many goals we've conceded yet in the league. I'm interested to see where we are right now with that. But our defence is very, very good. Even as I say, it doesn't look pretty on the eye. And our defence came to the fore in the second half. They batted away the chances that they were creating, and we came away with another clean sheet, which is very, very important. And that's the mark of champions, mate.
Absolutely, mate. Senior's talking about defence. Like, I know at the start of the season, left back was just a complete mystery who was going to play the left back lottery. McGinty was calling it. Then you had right back, it was switching between Ralston and Juranovic. But probably for the last maybe 4 or 5 months, there's been a settled back line. So ever since Greg Taylor came back from injury and Greg Taylor took over the left back slot, it's always been Taylor at left back, Starfelt, Vickers, and Juranovic. You know what I mean? So when we talk about having conceded the least amount of goals, that can only come through consistency, and that's by playing a consistent team. You know, Starfelt, a lot of criticism early on at the start of the season, myself included. He's formed a formidable partnership with Vickers. You know, some will say Vickers is better, Starfelt's better. It doesn't matter. The two of them are playing off each other. And today was the same. Vickers was going and doing every single bit of rough, dirty stuff. He was going through the back of everybody. He was winning every ball. He was intercepting it. He was getting in front of people. And Starfelt was doing the same. Starfelt doesn't look as physical as Vickers, but he's still physical enough to be getting in and winning the balls. You know what I mean? So, listen, massive respect to him. And I say, Greg Taylor was great today. And I actually thought, other than a couple of moments where he was beaten, maybe a couple of slack passes, I thought Ralston was really, really good as well. He was strong, direct. He was getting in for tackles. He got absolutely halved in two in the first half by that. Was it Callaghan?
See, whenever I'm glad that you mentioned that. I was going to forget about that, but that was a very important one. It was assertive refereeing. Compare that night and day to Bobby Madden at Hampden, night and day. But assertive refereeing, and that was important because he's one of the kind of holding midfielders, I think. And for him to get yellow carded so early on, I think that was still within maybe five minutes of the game. Very, very important whenever your defensive mid gets yellow carded early on, because the rest of the game he needs to walk a tightrope, and that kind of mitigated how physical he could be. And you know who he looks like? He's a fucking dead ringer for Arthur Shelby for the Peaky Blinders.
Mate, I was thinking the exact same thing, except he's not got a moustache. All right, Mr. Shelby. No, listen, he was a big dirty bastard. You can probably imagine he's a big hunter. But that wasn't the first time he tried to come through somebody. He done it again and get away with it. But Ralston, you know, he was doing on the deck for a wee kind of 30 seconds or something. But all credit to the boy, he was up. He's a big unit. He's not going to fucking take that in his stride. You know what I mean? He's right back up and back on with the game, and it never affected him. No hobbling, no nothing about it. He was just back up. He was marauding down the right hand side again, pinging in the powerful, low-driven crosses, which has been so successful this season. You know, I think he's still the second top assister in the league. behind fucking Tavernier penalty.
Yeah. Aye, Ralston has been such a dependable figure for Celtic, and of course he's been rewarded with the contract renewal which he got earlier on this season. So fair play to the young man. He's a fan favourite, and I hope he has a great Celtic career, even if it is unfortunately going to be behind Janovic. Arthur is a Tim. Yeah, he is a Tim. Do you remember that?
Yes. He came out with a Kieran Tierney tap, wasn't it?
That's it, mate. That's it. Aye, absolute legend.
Unfortunately, I don't think he's looking like us.
Certainly not.
I may be wrong, but it certainly doesn't look like it. But what did you think about the midfield today, mate? I thought last week the midfield was non-existent. The previous game at Ibrox, again, it was non-existent. But it was back to a game now where we were coming up against the same kind of approach for the opposition team. They were trying to get in our faces. They were trying to come in with kind of snapping tackles. I thought we actually really controlled it really, really well in the first half, and that was with Hatate, who was blowing out his arse. The man in the mask again, and big O'Reilly. Big shout out to O'Reilly. I thought he was great again.
Aye. I think there's going to be a lot of fans watching what Rogic is good at, and then they're going to be looking at what O'Reilly is good at. So O'Reilly, he got the nod ahead of Rogic today, and I thought he took up a lot of good positions. See, whenever he's got the ball in tight situations, when people are pressing him quickly, he's very, very intelligent. He doesn't give the ball away cheaply. He's able to evade challenges and make intelligent passes. The guy's got a football brain, I'll tell you that. He's different. Different type of flair from what Rogic is. He's also got a very good eye for a pass as well. And I think, especially probably more next season, he's going to really enjoy hooking up with, don't mean it like that. playing alongside Kyogo. I think he's going to look to try and forge a good chemistry on the park with Kyogo, because I think players with good football brains, that shows. So I think O'Reilly had a good game. Obviously, he came off. I tell
you what, I know, Gav. He's a big lad, isn't
he? Yes.
He's a big unit.
Aye, he's young as well. So we're going to see the best of him. We've got plenty from him in the contract. So looking forward to it. I thought McGregor did as usual. He kind of goes under the radar with a lot of effort, leadership and stuff like that. I know that sounds very, very cliched. Not eye-catching from McGregor, but you would notice it whenever you take him out of the team. And Hatate had a good first half. In the second half, I agree with you, he was blowing out his arse. He started giving away possession cheaply. And you know what I remember? This season anyway, I think Hatate is going to delight and frustrate in equal measure right now. But I remember whenever we had Dan Orlowitz, I know that he's been on everybody's podcast, that absolute whore of a man. Don't mean it like that. But I remember one comment that he made. He spoke about Hatate's mentality, and he just said, take care of him. Kind of reading between the lines, it was almost like he had that kind of a delicate mentality. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Obviously, he's a tough enough boy to come from Japan to the UK. Different climate, different language, different teammates. And to actually, he had a good start to Celtic career. But I think he's going to be a wee bit hot and cold anyway this season. I think we shouldn't be too harsh on him. And I'm probably speaking to myself by saying that. Don't be too harsh on the guy. He will frustrate and delight in equal measure. But first half, he was good. Second half, I think the physicality of the game took its toll on him. We've seen that again, but he was like that in the Rangers game, unfortunately. But Ange obviously trusted him, and Ange we trust. So I'm not going to blame Ange for starting him. But at least we've got depth in the squad. We had a strong bench. We had people like midfielders, people like Turnbull, Rogic, who we could bring on to kind of mask that, to kind of compensate for him blowing out his arse. So I'm not going to be too harsh on Hatate. Overall, I thought the midfield did well, mate.
Just to echo the same as what you said, mate. A good first half for Hatate. You can see that he's always wanted to drive forward with the ball. And he's actually pretty good at the accepting the ball and turning and passing pretty quick. He doesn't dally on the ball too much, but what we've seen in the last few weeks, certainly, and today, is that when he tires, it's as if he's fucking playing with concrete boots on. Every pass looks as heavy as possible. But listen, what do you expect for a guy who is coming out and telling you that he's played for 2 years without a break? He's only really been playing football fucking at a high standard for, I think, about 60-odd games. So he's still quite raw in that respect, but he's definitely a player, and I'm looking forward to seeing the best of him next season, hopefully. And whoever can complement each other in that midfield, whether they bring somebody else in or whether Adiguchi manages to come in and force his way into the team, whatever way it's going to work out. But as you say, mate, there's options all around the place, and David Turnbull come on today as well. And I think he's a guy who's got to build himself back into the team, because he looks very slow and cumbersome in this team, very off the boil. But again, he's come back from injury. I'm not going to be too hard on him, but he's definitely doing in the pecking order.
I agree with you. Can I say one more thing? And back about Hatate, one more thing in his defence. And again, I'm probably like preaching to myself, but not really to anyone else. But I don't think you can overstate the mental toll that it takes of being a champion, playing a full season, which he did in Japan, winning it, and the winning team, top of the league, and then moving over to Scotland, and then having that mental challenge to pick up from where you left off and win another title for Celtic. I don't think you can overstate how mentally exhausting that must be. I can only imagine what it's like. And yeah, that's just another thing in Hatate's defence. So we should try and manage him as much as we can between now and the end of the season, much like the other players as well. But sorry, I interrupted you.
Bang in time, mate. You know, we lost Giakoumakis last week through injury. Kyogo still came back into the team and he was still no fit. But today, Kyogo started and he looked to be a threat right off the boil, mate. He was getting involved and he got a goal. And to be honest, he should have had about 3 or 4 goals. But once the game's over, once we've won, are we really going to be that bothered about it? No, because we won. But the good thing is now, he's there. He looks to be coming back into some sort of form, and you've got Giakoumakis, who's come on at the end as well, mate. And he didn't look as if he'd been at the team. You know, he was dropping deep. He was using his strength. He was turning people. He was holding the play up. He was bringing other guys into it. And of course, for the goal, he gets involved in the penalty box where he should be. He's unfortunate enough to hit the crossbar, but brilliant play for Jota. He's fucking sized it up for dropping. He's going in front of it. Managed to get the ball and get a goal. So great work for Giakoumakis. And again, it was a good cross for, I think, Abada, who, by the way, that boy needs to go and work on his shooting. I tell you who else I know. Right? I wanted to bring this up. It just reminded me. Callum McGregor's is probably the best midfielder that we've got, right? He's great. Again, same as Hatate, facing the defence, collecting the ball, turning, passing it on, any direction, dictating the game, if you want to call it that. But fuck me, man. See, any time that Callum McGregor's running face on to goal and has a shot, how many times has he actually scored? Like there was one actually out the stadium at one point today.
Yeah, mate. I think that might have taken a wee bobble, but yeah, his shooting is appalling. That's one thing that David Turnbull has definitely got in his locker, which unfortunately McGregor doesn't possess, is just a natural scoring instinct from just outside the box. Turnbull's got that, but McGregor obviously gets in the team because overall he's a better player. But shooting boot, I don't think he wears shooting boots. And what is he, about 28, 29? I don't think
28, 29.
I would be impressed if Ange Postecoglou is able to incorporate that into his game at this stage of his career. What we've got for Callum, Giakoumakis, a workhorse, that's a compliment in the Netherlands. Yeah, mate, that's we've got the same sentiment. A workhorse is something that should be applauded. Giakoumakis is chock full of that. A great work ethic. And although he never got his goal when he came on as a sub, you saw how much it meant to him being involved in the winner for Jota.
And there's one for Stephen Kelly, Gav. I'll bring this one up now. Asian players okay, but they lack them. Well, maybe that's a kind of generalist comment, but they lack the muscle and fight derby games. I feel we need Scottish guys who know what these games mean. Or Roy Keane or Alan Thompson. I love how you say that we need Scottish guys who know how these games mean, and then list an Irish guy and an English guy. But I get what you mean. I think no to kind of generalise all Asian players or whatever, but you know, Hatate and possibly Kyogo in the last game especially, I think, they were far too nice. You know, it's a massive game against a horrible lot. They're out to kick us, mate, and we've got guys that are trying to pick them up when they're falling. Do you know what I mean? They do need to get that wee kind of killer edge, but listen, they've gone to places like Ross County and they're managing it. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of hard places to go for slight guys with no muscle, as you've said there, Stephen, which I don't agree with. But they're working hard. They're working hard in other ways. You know what I mean? I think we could still be doing with a kind of midfield destroyer, a Wanyama, or possibly even a Lennon. But the guys are working their asses off. That's without question.
I get the sentiment, and I raised the point in one of the earlier episodes that we had about should we be trying to get more physicality in our team. Certainly, whenever we play Rangers, the gulf in physicality between us and them. In fact, no, maybe I'm being harsh in saying a gulf, but there is a bit of a difference. Certainly, we don't have players like Lundstrom, for example. But I think if we're on our game, then the physicality in terms of them being stronger than us or taller than us shouldn't matter too much. Saying that, whenever I think about physicality, I immediately think of last night with Tyson Fury boxing Dylan White's head off. Did you watch that?
I did, mate. I did. It was actually a really, really good fight, considering a lot of heavyweight bouts you get now. So it's more like a fucking a Viennese waltz than a heavyweight fight. You know what I mean? But it was good. I know. Kind of Dylan White gets schooled in that, and he looked quite slow and cumbersome. But do you know what? At least he was getting in and trying to have a go. Just that Big Tyson was just his reach is far too good. His speed's too good. His anticipation's too good. And then he's brought in this kind of this walloper, this fucking killer bomb in the last maybe year or two.
Aye, well, back to the football, but kind of still using Fury as an example. That's a man who not only has the power, but he's got the skills and the brain as well. That's a great all-rounder. If you could get players like that, then that'd be brilliant. But it would probably cost a very pretty penny to have everything in your locker. But physicality, yes, sometimes it shows up, especially in the games against Rangers. But maybe these players, like the Japanese players, will see they'll really come to the fore perhaps in the European games next season. We'll see how good they are there. But they've been holding their own in the domestic tournament. So I get where you're coming from with that point. But you can't always go for physical players. Any other comments we've got there, Paddy?
We've kind of, I've been bringing them up as we're going along here. Donny boy saying if we had Lundstrom, he'd be booked every game for us. Listen, I don't think anybody's suggesting for 1 second that we try and get guys like Lundstrom, but when ultimately you come up against a team who is bringing a physicality against you, you need to fight fire with fire, so to speak. And it's always good to have somebody who can come in and be combative in midfield with a physical presence. But the good thing is we're starting to get that in now. You look at our defence. The defence, for me, hasn't been this strong for a long, long time. Big Vickers doesn't get bullied off at anybody. He does the bullying. He's just like a big raging bull. You've got Giakoumakis up front, who is a godsend for me in terms of a big, strong unit. Not that he's just a big battering ram, but he's a guy who can hold off players. He can get in, he can mix it up, he can hold players off, he can bring other guys into play, and of course, he can score goals where it matters. So we're doing all right. Maybe just a couple of wee tweaks here and there, but we're getting there, mate. We're getting there. And of course, listen, for where we've came from, to be having one hand on the trophy for the league title is a tremendous feat.
True.
You know what I mean?
Aye. One final thing that I want to say about Giakoumakis, sometimes whenever you've got a physical centre forward, sometimes if you don't play the ball to him perfectly, whether it be onto his head or to his feet perfectly, then he's not going to get it. Some physical players are not mobile enough to move that 5 yards left or 5 yards right to collect the ball. But Giakoumakis not only is a physical player, but he's got mobility. He's not a Usain Bolt by any means, but he does have mobility. So I like him. He's a bit of an all-rounded player, as you said. He's got the drive, the determination. He's got the right attitude. He's got the physicalness where he can hold the ball up, lay it off, and he can obviously score goals, which we saw last season in Holland, finishing as the top goal scorer in the Eredivisie. So, mate, talking about tension, there was tension in that second half, and there was tension going into the game because we knew if we fucked up today, that would make us jittery. But now, another 3 points, 5 games to go. The Dirty Mob are visiting Parkhead next Sunday. So, where are you in terms of tension? How confident are you now for seeing out the remaining part of that season?
I hate to say this, Gav, but I'm still sitting here. I don't want to get ahead of myself, mate. I don't want to kind of break my luck, if you want to call it that. Listen, obviously they played yesterday, right? They got their game moved ahead. I've not got any qualms with it. I couldn't really care less. They would, I think they would still probably have been playing ahead of us today with the times and that. But they got their game moved to yesterday. They managed to win 3-1, but again at a cost because they lost Bargain to a straight red card. So he should, I believe, be suspended for the next game, which is against us, which is even better. But without fucking wee triangle head Morelos, they've now lost Roof.
Yeah.
They're coming into a wee bit of form, mate, but again, they're dropping like flies. They've got a game in Leipzig on Thursday, so I think that the way Leipzig's going to play against them, and I don't want to go into too much about them, but it's going to be, what I'm going to say is going to bring up on the game with us. But I think when Leipzig play them in their own stadium on Germany, Leipzig are a very, very fast team, mate. They're very quick on the counter. So I think that Mob's going to have a game yet on Thursday. I think that they're going to have heavy legs. I think that they're going to have to do a lot of work. Hopefully they get beat, of course, absolutely. But I think that they'll possibly overexert themselves in Germany, which, coming back to us on the Sunday, should technically, on paper, be a positive for us. And us having, from now until Sunday, which is 6 days, whatever, having a break, time to readjust, readapt, get some training in, and we're solely focused on them for next week now, whereas they've got to focus on going to Germany first. You know what I mean? They've got to focus on beating 2 teams in the next week, whereas we've got to just sit back and focus on 1 team. We're at home. We're going to have the lion's share of supporters in the stadium. They're only getting 700 fucking mutants in, so it should be a great day. The weather is to be scorching. The sun's going to be shining. The gods are going to be looking upon us, and we're going to fucking pump them. And see when we pump them at Parkhead and the sun at Paradise, that should be it, mate. That should be it. Maybe not on paper, but that'll be it. That'll be league title done. Once we beat them next week, then I'll fucking say, right, that's us.
Well, that would put us 9 points ahead. On top of that, with our considerable goal difference, this is if we beat Rangers. 9 points ahead with a considerable goal difference with 4 games remaining. That would be Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise material in order to actually overturn that. So I think even Paddy, you, who have been getting splinters sitting on the fence about yes or no, has the title been won? I think even yes, at that point, you're admitting now, if we beat Rangers at Parkhead on Sunday, the league is ours. Yes?
Aye, without a shadow of a doubt, mate. Listen, as I say, yesterday, they managed to get the 3 points, right? Regardless of how they got it, I couldn't care less. They got the 3 points, they narrowed the gap to 3. It's then a ton of 3 points, you know what I mean? If they come and win next week, it's fucking level on points. But we managed to answer back absolutely perfectly. We answered back like champions. We went to a hard place like Dingwall, and we took 3 points to take the gap back to 6 again. There's going to be people fucking spewing into their buckets tonight. The whole Scottish media is going to be fucking greeting because we never dropped any points. A lot of them everybody wanted us to fucking drop points today. We didn't. So get up,
Mate, I'm laughing because you said spew into a bucket. Guess what I was doing at 6 o'clock this morning?
Spewing into a bucket.
Normally I can handle my booze, but fuck, I was on a pub crawl last night.
There's McGinty. How you doing, son?
All right, McGinty. How's Bridgerton going? Did they drop a new series on Netflix? How's it going, mate?
Here's one for Kieran. You Jota, have faith. I love it.
I like that too, mate. Aye, so talking about the tension, going back to the question I asked you, and talking about that, you're going into the Rangers game. Obviously, they got the better of us at Hampden, but going into this game with the players that they've got out, they've got 2 centre forwards out, they've got Balogun out. The only player who I think really excels, that plays for them, who excels against us, is Bassey. Don't hate the guy. I'm aware of. He's very effective against Celtic. He's an effective player, whether he's playing at centre back or left back with his physicality. We really struggle to overcome him, whether it be with guile or physicality. The guy is just a tough nut to crack. But I think we are overwhelming. Surely we're overwhelming favourites to win at Parkhead, man.
Listen, Gav, we have to be. We have to be overwhelming favourites because we're playing at Celtic Park, mate, in front of a massive, massive crowd. We saw the last time how they really couldn't cope with the pressure of playing at a 100% Celtic supporting fucking Celtic Park, under the lights. They crumbled. They absolutely crumbled. The difference is we went to Ibrox, and the second time we went to Ibrox this season, 700 supporters, and we beat them at their own ground. If they'd have won that game, then you're talking, it's a different story. But again, the first game of the season, we fucking could have had them if it wasn't for the fact that we won the clinical enough. They got a bastard lucky goal. The second game of the season, we absolutely pumped them 3-0 under the lights. The third game of the season, we went to their shit pit and we beat them. We didn't even play at our best, mate, but we excelled in areas that we don't usually. We played we saw the game out. We were defence, and I know like the first goal went in and we didn't defend well for that, and there was another couple of moments we didn't defend well, but still, the scoreline reflects the game. You know what I mean? We still won 2-1 because we defended like champions, and we managed to sneak a goal, which we came for a set piece, which we don't usually do for the last few years, and we've done it. So now the time I think has come next week, Gav, that we absolutely blow them away with our football. We blow them away with handball. I don't think it's going to be a game where we're going to need to sit back and defend for our lives. Obviously, there's going to be points where we're going to need to defend because they'll come at us. But I don't think it's going to be a game. I think we're going to play with a freedom of, as I say, under the sun, all that crowd, the noise, the atmosphere, everything. The players are going to draw everything off of it, and they're just going to run amok. And even if it's not a massive scoreline, I still think that we're going to blow them away.
That's it, mate. Well, I'll be at it anyway, so I'll probably be late coming home because of the traffic, but I'd love to be able to do a podcast with you after the game, mate, to break it down. Mate, looking forward to it. It could well be a time of celebration. It won't be mathematically over, and I know that sounds like I'm getting ahead of myself, but we're overwhelming favourites. I find it difficult to imagine not coming away with the 3 points.
Well, there you are. In terms of that, Gav, there's Kenneth Watson with an earlier comment. Win next week. We're 9 points ahead with 3 games left, which means that I think we would need to, if we win next week, we would need to lose every game, and they would need to score about fucking 60 goals a game.
No.
Is that right?
I don't know. That's just confused the hell out of me. I thought there was 5 games left. No, not 4. There are 4 games left. Yes, so fucking
4 games left. So after the game at Ibrox, there'll be 3 games left after that.
He's right. I can't believe I'm doubting myself here. I'm doubting you. Sorry.
And there you are. There's the man himself. He's off work and he's watching it. He's available to pod up. Well, guess what, mate? I'm after drink next week, so again, you've got yourself a date, son. Me and you.
Excellent. Aye. Mate Paddy, I'm looking forward to it. Any final thoughts from yourself, mate? Any other comments that you want to highlight? The Celtic support today, they were fantastic from minute 1 up until the end. Fantastic support. Whenever I was a wee bit nervous going into the game, but as soon as the Celtic team were coming out before kickoff and they walked past the Celtic fans, and I just saw how enthusiastic the Celtic fans were, I just kind of calmed me right down. I swear to God, it calmed me right down, and I'm like, fuck, we'll win today. And I hope that the team get the same reassurance as what I do from our fans, because it just centred me, at that point. Any nerves.
Listen, mate, you look at teams, even in this league this season, teams that are they're really, really struggling to get going. The crowd's on their back. It's just everything's on negativity. Negativity breeds negativity, and it's the vice versa. Positivity breeds positivity. So when you've got your crowd and they are fucking flying, they're on top of the world. You know what I mean? They're loving life. The players will pull that off. You know what I mean? They'll totally draw on that. But it's vice versa. The fans draw from the players. You know what I mean? So everybody's in tandem this season. And the good thing is, Big Ange is at the helm, mate, and Big Ange is the one that's driving this bus. You know, even today, mate, as much as I thought a couple of, well, I say a couple, Hatati's selection was a wee bit kind of, I was like, why the fuck's he playing? And then I thought, right, I just need to trust the manager here. Manager got it spot on. When he saw that things wasn't picking up again after the second half and wasn't going as well as they could have, what does he do? He utilises the fact that he's allowed to make 5 substitutes now, and he puts 3 on right away, and it was 3 attacking players. It was Giakoumakis, Abada and Rogic that he brought on, and 2 players right away made a total difference. Rogic driving forward all the time. Giakoumakis obviously contributed to the winning goal. Abada, as much as I thought he was fucking dire in terms of shooting, at least he was getting forward. But listen, the big man's done a great job, and I think that he'll take on board lessons again for last week in the cup. Gav, he won't allow his players to walk out over that line when it comes fucking time to go and play them at 12 o'clock. He won't let them go there with that same attitude.
Very much so. And I think Postecoglou, in one of his interviews leading up to this game, he described the running being a bit like a roller coaster ride. You just need to kind of strap yourself in and try and enjoy it. And I think we've been over the scary part now. Now, hopefully, if we win at Parkhead against the Dirty Mob, then it's just going to be plain sailing from here in. And I'm going to be gutted whenever the season ends, because I've been enjoying doing like two weekly podcasts on the Jungle Gyms. But one thing I'm looking forward to when the season comes to an end is whenever me, you, McGinty, and who else, Daza, Abdel Boy for the Celtic Supporters Podcast, when we do a season breakdown and we summarise it, highs and the lows, when you were close to losing faith, and when people just when we overcame the odds, things like that. I'm looking forward to describing and breaking down those special moments of the season, the players of the season, the young player, the player of the season. I'm looking forward to that.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to, right? And you and Boy Martin's made a comment there, and it's reminding me of this guy. He says, Hope Keevans keeps talking us down as he's an idiot and always gets it wrong. I'm really, really looking forward to the day that we win the league, right? And then I can pull out that article for Keevans in the paper that it said, Ange means absolutely not good enough. I'll be like, get it up, you fucking specky wee ride.
He's a pantomime villain, man. Maybe we should get someone like that on the podcast, that pantomime villain. That would just wind me fucking up, man.
I thought that was me. I thought I was your pantomime villain.
Paddy, mate, a brilliant day, and 3 points in the bag. And 4 games to go now. 4 games to go. Forgive my earlier on, but yeah, 4 games to go. We've got Rangers coming up. If we beat them, then it's pretty much ours.
Party time, mate. Party time. And the good thing is, the last game of the season for us is at Celtic Park. It's against Motherwell, and it's going to be a 12 o'clock kickoff, I think. So, fingers crossed. Fucking Everton toes, fucking tits the lot. If we win the league, mate, that's a great day, because everybody's out early. From 12 o'clock onwards, the sun will be shining. The boys will be back. So next week, Gav, mate, £35 million game. No pressure, huh?
Oh. Mate, now that you said that, with the money that's at stake, don't do that.
£35 million game.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, mate. As always, Celtic Park in the sun. What more can you ask? Right, Paddy, will we wrap it up for this afternoon then?
Yes, mate, absolutely. Going to go and watch Liverpool and Everton.
I can't see. I know that Dale for the Celtic Supporters podcast. He's
sorry, Gav. Sorry, my apologies, mate. Talking about Dale. that's the link to his Just Giving page. I was on with him earlier on. A couple of guys who obviously kind of watch both platforms here and there were asking for the link. So there it is, guys. That's a link there. It's Dale O'Reilly, Celtic Supporters Podcast. Good friend of ours, comes on every now and again. We're on his blah blah blah. He's doing a sponsored run from Scotland to England in the coming months, and it's in aid of food banks. So if you can afford to spare a couple of shekels, please jump on that.
Who does he think he is? Like fucking Dyson Maida running from Scotland to England? Like, I think only Maida could do that, but best of luck, Bill. Best of luck.
He'll be like fucking Forrest Gump by the time he gets there with the big beard and the followers and that. But listen, there's a wee link at the bottom there. If you want to jump back on later, pause the video, jump on there. It's a Just Giving page. If you can, even a couple of £, whatever you can afford to do, jump on, get a wee couple of a wee bit of support, guys.
It's for the food banks. It's for the food banks. And as Dale eloquently put, in this day and age, you know what I mean, it's a sad time whenever people still have to use food banks. So he's doing it for a very, very good cause. And the actual thing that he's doing, going from Scotland to England, a remarkable achievement, a remarkable task. So, very inspirational stuff. And I mean that without any tongue-in-cheek. All the best to Dale. Best of luck. And I hope people do get involved in it. Please donate if you can, even if it's just a couple of quid. Well, anyway, to the viewers, thank you very, very much for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. I hope you enjoyed the game as much as what Paddy and I did. And give us a like, subscribe, please. And we will be back on Tuesday night for the Dingwall Gyms Tuesday TikTok. And then, of course, we'll be back on Sunday, Celtic and Rangers.
I was just about to say that. Just to anybody that's listening who's regular watchers on the Tuesday, we've missed the last couple of Tuesday nights through no fault of our own, kind of technical issues, people working, this kind of thing. So we've not been able to do it, but we're going to be back on every Tuesday from this Tuesday. And we're going to be happier, smilier, soberer, not what. Compass mentis. But hopefully we'll see you on Tuesday then.
Aye. So, with me and Paddy for the Jungle Gyms, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Catch you.
Hell yeah.